Today we're going to talk about how to drive a car. This is our learning target. I want success. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you in. So, to begin your driving experience, if you're under 18 years old, you need to enroll in an authorized driving school that is certified by the state that you live in. There is a three-step process to do this. First, many states have what is called a GDL, that is a graduated license. This allows you to take level 1, you have 24 hours of class, you have 6 drives, you have 4 hours of observation. Your instructor is documenting what you do, how to improve, how to get better. Then they should be meeting with your guardian or parent. Typically, you're going to get a segment 1 certificate that will be mailed to you, or at the end of the course, your instructor will have it written out with your name on there and all your vital information. Then you can go to Secretary of State. Let's continue. You're going to have proof of a security number, so you may have to get your Social Security card. Next, you need to have legal proof of your residence. If you're in Texas, you're going to have information about Texas. If you're in Nebraska, Michigan, Louisiana, California, you need to have proof that you're an actual resident of that state. Next, you got to have proof of identity. You might have to have a piece of mail. Let's talk about the actual questions. In some states, it's 80 questions. You'll take an 80-question comprehensive test. There'll be multiple choice questions. We'll go over some of those questions with you as examples. If you have questions, put it in. Going to take my test soon. Can you explain? Should I stop before the sign? You want to stop before the sign completely for 3 seconds, 1001, 1002, and 1003. After you stop, you want to inch forward. It's called showing the car. You want to look left and check traffic. You want to look right. You want to look left. But you have to come to a complete stop first. Then you inch forward past the sign. You don't want your front of your car in the intersection, but if you're not up far enough, you won't be able to see to the left. That's a great question. Let's continue. Here are some of the things you need to understand. You need to understand driving on rural roads can be especially hazardous due to the curves and hills. Rural roads are very dangerous. There are no lights. There's no edge line to the right. That is that white line. There are no single yellow lines or double yellow lines, so it's really easy to be on the wrong side of the road. I'm coming from North America. I know a lot of you are watching it from the Middle East. God bless you. India, Africa, Australia. We drive on the right and our steering wheel's on the left in the car. I've seen a lot of your comments. A lot of people from the UK. Love you and appreciate you. Let's continue going over some of the questions. The overwhelming majority of crashes happen because of human error. What is our learning target? We're learning about how to drive a car. I'm going over some of the practice questions. I'm going over the process. I'm your state certified driving instructor. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you in. I'm a state certified driving instructor from the Midwest. Let's go over some of the other things you need. Every state is a little bit different. You need to check with the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles in your state. Example, where I'm from, you need to take an 80-question comprehensive test. That's multiple choice questions. You need to drive for 6 hours, 4 hours. Someone is in the back observing you. You need to have a licensed instructor. I'm a licensed state certified driving instructor. You have to take a state examination. You need to pass that examination with the passing score. Your attendance paperwork is submitted to the driver's ed school, and then that is turned into the state. Either it's paper or digital. More and more states are going to a digital format where you'll have a file set up with your name, the test is scanned in, your paperwork is scanned in, and then the state or municipality can verify, okay, John, you drove your 6 hours, you passed your knowledge test. Then they're going to issue you a certificate of completion. Then you print that out. You need a social security card, proof of residence. You're going to have to go to the DMV with a guardian. And let me explain this to you. On your hello, hey, how you doing today? You need to have 24 hours of class, 2 hours a day. It's over 6 weeks. It could be a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. It could be a Tuesday, Thursday, Monday. It's set up by the driving school. Then you're going to get that segment 1 completion certificate. You got to have a valid social security number and card. You have to have proof of legal resident. So if you're in Texas, some people coming in from Mexico, you got to have proof that you're an American citizen, because a driver's license is a great way for you to become one step closer to learning how to have your independence. You have to have proof of your identity and residence. On a level 1, you have to have 2 hours at night. You have to have 10 hours of nighttime driving, and you have to have 30 hours of supervised driving. Every state, every municipality is different. On the level 2 license, it allows individuals to drive alone all times except 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. because a lot of times beginning drivers are falling asleep. So we want to make sure you don't fall asleep. Now, if you have a job that requires you to drive to 11 p.m., you're going to have to get authorization from the employer. Next, you got to be accompanied by a parent or guardian. If you're driving to and from school, that's fine. If they are driving to and from an employer, that's fine. The level 2 also prohibits driving with more than 1 passenger, because due to research, the more people you have in the car, the more likely you are to be distracted and crash. So we're not trying to have you crash. Good instructors are very patient. They're nice. They don't yell at you when you make a mistake. They give you information, not last-minute decisions on where to go, what to turn. They're very considerate. In the level 2, you're about 17 years old. You got to have 50 hours of driving. Again, this varies from state to state. Hello, how are you? You got to have 50 hours of driving. You have to be a minimum of 16 years old. Take segment 2, pass it, then you're going to get your segment 2 certificate. Now you're ready to take your road test. Again, every state is different hours, different requirements. You have to check with your Department of Motor Vehicles. It differs from state to state. Type in what state you're from so I can better serve you and help you. Let's go over some of these multiple choice questions. When passing a car in heavy traffic, you need firm acceleration to allow the car to quickly accelerate and make a lane change. You can't get back over until the headlights are in your mirror, then you know you won't cut off the vehicle. Here's another question to help you. Where should you stop if you're being pulled over? You want to pull over to the far right side of the road, turn on your interior lights, put your hands on the steering wheel or on the dashboard. Good driving instructors are fun. They have a good sense of humor. They allow you to fix your mistakes, and they allow you to improve. How much space should you give a bicyclist? 3 feet. If you're riding a bicycle on a public street, you need to follow those rules as if you are a car or a motorcyclist. You need to ride with the flow of the traffic. You should be wearing a helmet. You should have a white light on the front and a blinking red light on the back of your bike to alert other drivers. Drivers, you have a responsibility too. If you're making a right turn and a bicyclist is coming, you should wait for them to go by. There's something called a right hook. A right hook is when you're looking to the left, but you don't look to the right. You turn right in front of a bicyclist and hit them. What I need you to do is take your time and let that bicyclist go by. Have a question. If we find 20 million in a car together, what will we do? We're going to make sure that it's turned in properly to the authorities. There's probably a reward. Okay? So let's continue. That's a good question. Next, if you must leave the roadway at a high rate of speed and there's no open space, and open space is there's no cars in front of you, there are no trees. You want to look for an open space. Okay? And then you want to turn the wheel to the edge of the road. Here's another question for you. A reasonable and prudent speed for the conditions on the road. If it's raining, you want to reduce your speed. You must drive at a speed that is safe and reasonable for the conditions on the road. Here's some other information. Many of you will be waiting until you're over 21. That's fine. Driver's education is very expensive. It costs an average of $450 to $550. I'm going to pose a question to all of you. I really appreciate you. You need to make that personal commitment to get to the Secretary of State because no one else is going to do it except for you. So you could do a Google research, you could do a Google search, find the nearest DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles, near you. They have a lot of information. If you're over 18, you need to have identification. You need to go inside and tell them, I want to get my temporary license. It's called a TIP. You're going to learn about road signs, pavement markings. Hey, let's talk about our learning targets for success. We're talking about how do you drive a car? How do you obtain your license? I'm your instructor. Testing is in progress. This is me. I want to welcome you in. I teach in the Midwest. We're talking about how do you obtain your license. You have questions, go ahead and put that in. You need to have your mom or dad, older sister, brother, take you to the DMV. It might be a half an hour. It might be 45 minutes. The lines are long. I would get there early in the morning, 8:45, 8:30. Get there first in line. Bring your identification with you. Tell them you want to take your TIP. It could be $10, $15, $22. They're going to give you a state certified test. It could be 20 questions. It could be 25, might even be 30. You're going to learn about rules of the right-of-way, pavement markings, defensive driving, how do you merge on the expressway, railroad crossings. Hopefully, you pass the test the first time. Let's pretend you pass. Then you'll get your temporary restriction permit. You can drive with someone over 21 for 30 days. Could be 90 days. You need to be practicing parallel parking, merging on expressway. Then when you feel you're ready, you're going to do some research on a state certified road tester in your area. They are specially trained by the state to test you in your driving skills. I want to give you some other information to help you. New driver advice. I want to talk about this right now. Beginning drivers do a lot of light traffic driving. What does this mean? You're going from traffic light to traffic light. You're not driving in rush hour. You're not driving in the morning. You're not driving early evening. You're driving 10:30 in the morning, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock. You need to watch others while they drive so you can continue to learn. You need to be watching my videos. You need to be asking questions. I need you to continue to study yield and right-of-way. What does this mean? If you come up to an intersection that's uncontrolled, no stop signs, no yield signs, you've got to yield. You've got to look left. You've got to look right. Yield to traffic already in there, including pedestrians. So you want to yield. The first car there is the first car to leave. You will have questions on your tests that deal with the right-of-way. You will have questions on your test that deal with pedestrians. You will have questions on your test that deal with pavement markings and road signs. If I live in Montreal, I'm going to have questions on signs in that part of the world. If I live in Johannesburg, South Africa, I'm going to have questions on those type of elements. If I live in the UAE, I'm going to have questions on the UAE. If I live in Australia, I'm going to have questions on driving in Australia. If I live in London, I'm going to have questions on London. If I live in India, I'm going to have questions on driving in India. So it's really regional to your area. Thank you, West. It's really regional to your area. So you have to know some of the signs in your area. California, amen. You're going to have questions about driving in California. California, Los Angeles, California, Texas, they're big, big states. So you're going to have a lot of people in those states who want to learn how to drive, but they have to go through the process of learning, getting that knowledge test. So I'm here to help you. So I'm learning that people from California. Next, you want to be aware of the big Georgia. Amen. Georgia in the house. You're going to have questions because California is different than Georgia. T is from Georgia. West is from California. So those rules are different. The laws are different. Okay. Atlanta, Georgia is a huge metropolitan city. Los Angeles, California, a huge metropolitan city. So you're going to have a lot of bilingual people speaking more than one language because our world is multicultural. I'm going to talk about the big five. This is really going to help you. You got to put your phone down when you're driving. You really want to focus on being safe. Next, look into your turns. If I'm making a right, I want to look to the right. If I'm making a left, I want to look to the left. When you're driving, I should see you turning your head. Pretend you're in the car with me. Hey, I need you to make a left turn. I should see you looking to the left and turning. You want to have your hands down to your side, your thumbs up. Hey, I got my knowledge test. I'm 29. I'm going to help you because I am very passionate. Our learning targets, success. We're trying to teach people how to drive. We're telling you what you need to do. You need to start studying those elements of California or Texas or Georgia, learning targets. This is me. Testing's in progress. I want to welcome you in. I'm a state certified driving instructor. I teach in the Midwest. I go live as much as possible, 12 to 12:30. I go live this evening. So we're talking about what you need to do. You got to have a plan. You don't want to go there to the DMV, wait in line for a half an hour, 45 minutes, take the test, and then fail. Thank you, Wes. And then fail because you feel like crap. You're like, man, I waited. My mama's out waiting for me. My brother's out waiting, and I failed the test. You don't know when you're going to be able to get back to the Secretary of State because a lot of people are doing legal business. They're getting the title to their car. They're obtaining their license, right? I appreciate West 100%. And I'm really trying to give you a perspective, whether you're 18, 28, 38, 48, you got to obtain that license. And you will be smiling because that's a part of driving is a right. Driving is a privilege, not a right. It can be taken away. And the state owns our license or the country that you live in. We do not own our license. So I want to be clear on that. Good instructors are patient. And I suggest if you can afford a couple of private lessons, get a good instructor who's patient, who's kind, because would you rather pay for 2 or 3 lessons, feel comfortable, pass your driving test, or barely learn how to drive, go take your test, fail, then you got to do it all over again. And people get very impatient. Trust me. Good instructors allow you to fix your mistakes. What is a mistake? You're going too slow. You won't pass your test. What is the mistake? You run a red light. You'll fail your test. What is the mistake? You don't stop at a right turn or red. You have to stop, look left, check, look right, check, look left, and then when it's legal, if there's a sign saying no right turn on red, you can't turn on red. That's a pro tip because many beginning drivers will fail because they don't read the signs. Let's continue. Look where you want to go on your turns. If you're making lane changes, it's mirror, turn signal, blind spot. Inside mirror, outside mirror, turn signal, left is down, right is up. A lot of beginners look over the wrong shoulder. When you're holding your steering wheel, 9 and 3 is perfectly fine. 7 and 5 is fine. 8 and 4, as long as your hands are relaxed, your hands are to the side, your thumbs up. We don't turn with our elbows because you will not be able to control the car. We want the steering wheel in a neutral position. Left hand, left side, left hand, right side. Next, what I need you to do is when you back up, you're looking out of your back window. I know you have a backup camera, but you can't always rely on your backup camera. So you got to look over your shoulder as you back up. Our learning targets. We're talking about how to drive a car. How do you get your license? If you're over 18, you're going to go to the Secretary of State. They may have testers there. Every state is different. You've got to take a knowledge test, 20 questions, 25, 30, 50. There are at least 10 different versions. Are you guys listening to me? If this is bringing you value, give it a thumbs up. There are 10 different versions of that test that you're going to take at the Secretary of State. So you really have to have a firm understanding of the driving rules because driving in California is different than driving in Texas. Driving in Texas is different than driving in Michigan. Driving in Michigan is different than driving in Hawaii because Hawaii, they have volcanoes. Imagine driving and then there's hot lava. What do? You get out of your car and you run the opposite way. Just think about that. That's regional. What do you do if we were in Australia, you're driving on the left and a blooming kangaroo comes out? Think about that. Or the Aborigines because they are native to that area. Do you follow me? Do you understand? Guys and ladies, I want to say thank you. Give us a thumbs up. Leave questions. I will go live probably 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye.